Who's actually going to get the most out of a semi-professional espresso machine? And who's better off sticking with a capsule pod system? Is the Rancilio Silvia with PID really worth the price tag for someone who just wants a solid cup at home? Or does it belong in a kitchen where you're willing to spend a few minutes each morning tweaking the brew? Those are the questions that keep a lot of coffee lovers up at night, and they're the ones I wanted to answer before I even pulled the machine out of the box. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. I've been watching the prosumer espresso market for a while, reading forums, watching barista tutorials, and listening to people who have tried everything from cheap stovetop brewers to full-size commercial rigs. The Silvia sits in that sweet spot where the price is high enough to promise serious performance, but not so high that you need a barista's apprenticeship to make it work. The big selling points are the PID temperature controller, a built-in pre-infusion pump, and a shot timer that's tucked right on the front panel. Those three features together are meant to give you the kind of consistency you'd expect from a CAF, but the real test is how they translate into daily life. First off, let's talk about the PID. In plain English, that's a digital thermostat that keeps the boiler temperature within a few degrees of the target you set. If you've ever tried to pull a shot on a machine that swings between 190F and 210F, you know how frustrating that can be. With the Silvia's PID, the water stays steady, which means you can dial in a dose and expect the same extraction time shot after shot provided you're using the same coffee, grind, and tamp. In my own kitchen, I noticed the temperature holding at 200F with barely any fluctuation after the initial warm-up, so the espresso tasted more balanced and less bitter than the first few attempts on a non-PID home machine. That stability is a real strength for anyone who likes to experiment with different beans or wants that repeatable espresso profile without constantly adjusting the dial. Pre-infusion is another feature that often gets tossed around as a buzzword, but it actually does something useful. The machine gently wets the coffee puck at low pressure for a couple of seconds before ramping up to full pressure. The effect is a more even extraction, especially when you're using a grind that's a bit on the fine side. I tried a medium-dark blend that tended to channel on a standard machine, and the pre-infusion helped smooth out those harsh notes. If you're the type who likes to pull a double shot for a latte every morning, the pre-infusion can shave off a few seconds of waiting time because the brew starts off more predictably. The built-in shot timer might look like a small LED display, but it's surprisingly handy. It flashes when the brew reaches the programmed shot time, so you don't have to stare at a stopwatch or guess when the espresso is done. For a busy household where the second person in line is already waiting for their cappuccino, that visual cue can keep the line moving. The timer is adjustable, so you can set 25 seconds for a classic espresso or extend it to 30 seconds if you prefer a slightly longer pull. Now, who should actually consider buying the Silvia? If you're a coffee enthusiast who enjoys the ritual of grinding beans, tamping, and tweaking variables, the machine gives you a platform to learn and improve. It's also a good fit for small offices or apartments where space is at a premium. Its footprint is about the size of a large microwave, and it doesn't require a dedicated water line. The back-flushable design is a practical win, too. With a blind filter and cleaning solution, you can run a backflush cycle to keep the group head clean without disassembling the whole unit. That's a feature you normally only see on commercial machines, and it means less buildup of coffee oils, which translates to better taste over time. On the flip side, if you're the type who just wants to push a button and have a latte appear, the Silvia may feel like a step backward. The machine still requires a separate grinder, a tamping tool, and a bit of patience to heat up roughly 8 to 10 minutes before you can start pulling shots. There's no built-in grinder or automatic dosing, so you'll need to buy those accessories separately. For someone on a tight budget, the added cost of a decent burr grinder can push the overall price well beyond the machine's sticker price. And while the PID keeps temperature steady, you still have to monitor the pressure manually. The pump is not programmable, so you'll need to watch the gauge or rely on the shot timer's visual cue. Another practical weakness is the lack of a built-in water reservoir indicator. The 2-liter boiler looks generous, but if you're making multiple drinks in a row, you can run out of water.